second topic. We're going to just transition right into the second topic. The actual PlayStation experience. How it was set up, the way they had everything. First off, like I said, if you weren't there, it was 3 floors.
Yeah.
The first floor was maybe a bunch of, I think the first 2 floors were all games. The third floor is where they held the actual keynote and the Capcom Cup, which was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
We got to see that live. I really, really liked the way they did it this year. The swag bag that they handed out wasn't as good as last year's, but the rewards that they actually gave out within the app, to explain it, they gave out name tags this year, and the name tags had a NFC chip in it. And each booth that you visited, there was I'm guessing a Sony cell phone.
Yeah.
Kind of like a stand, Sony stand or something, and you just take your name tag and you scan it, and your name pops up on the phone, and it says you checked in. And what they did with these check-ins is that they tracked them in the app. The first day was sluggish, but it ended up catching up.
Yeah.
And to give an example, one of the rewards was $10 in PlayStation Network.
You had to do
credit.
Kind of do a lot.
You had to check in 15 places. You had to check into a panel, which we checked into the Kind of Funny panel, and then you had to attend the keynote, I think.
The keynote and...
No, that's it. I think
that was it.
And then you automatically unlock that reward. So that was cool to me. It was kind of a game within a game. Another thing I liked is collecting the cards. For those of you who don't know, there was collectible cards around PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
Not PlayStation Network, but the PlayStation Experience. And they all had different designs. There was rare cards. And last year, it was easier to collect the cards because last year, the cards were it was actually a deck of cards. So you knew you had to collect 52. Right. This year, they weren't. They just had a really nice-ass design. And we'll show you some right now. It's just really cool design on them. And some were rare. Some were rarer than others. And
they were like different, like, was it bronze?
Bronze and then platinum or something like that. And how you got the platinum, like, for instance, the one game that I want to talk about and I really enjoyed was Shadow of the Beast.
Yeah.
And if you stood in line and you checked in to that booth, you would get the bronze card. But if you played the demo and beat the boss, you got the platinum. And I like the way they did that. Some of them was like really hard to get. For instance, you had to, like, I know Cheddar got the platinum Uncharted one. And how you get that is that you had to be number 1 on your team in the multiplayer beta.
Right.
And he was number 1, I was number 2, but we had to stay in line for like maybe an hour. So that's really hard to get because in order to play again, you have to get back in line. Right. I don't know what else I liked. I liked the PlayStation Store, the actual PlayStation merch store. They had a lot of cool stuff. They gave out free posters. We'll show you guys some of the posters right now. I bought a couple shirts. Really, that's it. I mean,
I just considered if there was anything that was consistent about PlayStation experience is that you were going to stand in a line.
Yes.
And those lines wrapped around like between the line for the PlayStation Store, the line for Destiny Sparrow Racing, and God, we'll get into that later. But
you got really upset about that.
Yeah, between that line, the Street Fighter V line actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
Since it's basically winner stays, loser gets off the sticks, the lines kind of went like this because the people that were really good basically stayed there and kicked the person off.
Yeah, so. I liked how they did that, where like it was kind of like an old school arcade.
Yeah.
Where you and I were fighting each other and we're sitting there playing, and I beat you, which doesn't happen, but I beat him. I get to stay, and the next person's up. And I think Cheddar, how long did you stay? Like you stayed for a minute, right? On the Street Fighter, you beat a few people. Yeah, he beat one person, but it's really hard. But you didn't get to play the beta too because we didn't all that shit. But nonetheless, I like the way that was set up. It was kind of like an old school arcade feel to it.
Yeah.
Everybody's really close to each other, and it was. I liked it. I liked the way it was set up, and everybody was like in a small booth, and it was in a corner too, so it was dark. It really felt like you were in an arcade.
Although I think I would have did better if I had a controller, not the fighting stick, because I'm better with a controller. With the fighting stick, especially since I'm standing up, when I do moves, I'm moving the stick,
Yeah.
and I'm just messing up. So the guy I fought, he was like, "Is this your first time playing Street Fighter 5?" I lied and I said, "Yeah, it was my first time, whatever." And then I'm playing with the stick, and I'm like, "Wow, I can't do any moves," and I got beat. So I'm just like, "Whatever." But I got
Well,
to
at
play
least you
it, so it's
All
fine.
right. Okay. What else did I like about the PlayStation experience itself? Well, we'll talk about more of the games in our next topic.